Good afternoon, and thank you for joining me this afternoon. It feels like spring has arrived. Well, at least hay fever is hit, but the weather's a little bit better. Again, no cases of COVID-19 in Crook County this last week. Honestly, that's a surprise considering the additional numbers of cases in Deschutes County, and when you figure the amount of commuting traffic between Prineville and Bend and Redmond, having no more cases really is a credit to you for all of the care that you take in not exposing yourself to the virus nor being exposed nor exposing others to the virus. So for that, thank you. We have heard that the governor is planning to gradually reopen business in Oregon slowly, beginning in rural counties that have few or no cases of COVID-19. Yesterday, Governor Brown announced non-emergent medical procedures and dental care could resume as of May 1st. Provided adequate personal protective equipment is available, testing and emergency facilities are in place. There are criteria or gating methods, ideas for getting business opened in Oregon and throughout Oregon. And they are looking at declining numbers of symptoms, declining numbers of cases, and the hospital capacity for regular procedures and having adequate testing. There are core state procedures and preparedness, a robust testing and contact tracing so they can track down who was exposed to whom and where the cause came. Healthcare system capacity, including personal protective equipment and surge capacity in case there is a sudden increase in number of cases in Oregon. And lastly, plans for health and safety, which is standard operating procedures. Over the period, the state will be opened in 3 phases. There are more details that are yet to be worked through, so no specifics were shared on that information. I serve on multiple committees through which information is shared back and forth between local areas, regional and state agencies. And it is through these sources that I get information and am able to advocate on behalf of Prineville moving forward. I serve on the board of directors of the League of Oregon Cities, the Central Oregon Cities Organization, and the Central Oregon COVID Response Recovery Team, and the Oregon Mayors Association, in addition to 16 other committees that I'm responsible to participate in. And COCO meets once each month, and COCO is the Central Oregon Cities Organization. We close each meeting with a roundtable discussion of activities and concerns about our cities. And I was pleased to present a list of all of the things we are working on moving the city of Prineville forward. And better yet, we are moving forward with proactive efforts rather than being in a reactive mode and more or less a knee-jerk reaction. For example, we had extra N95 masks in public works. We had more than we were anticipating we would need, and we were able to share some of those with local pharmacies because the pharmacy staffs did not have sufficient masks. And it was a charitable offer on the part of the city to help the local businesses out. Our IT department was able to set up live streamings for all of our city council meetings. So our council meetings are held on a regular basis. We did not skip a beat. And by the way, we have a council meeting coming up this next Tuesday. We always meet the second and fourth Tuesdays at 6:30 in the evening. And you can turn in live and watch the proceeding of the city council. Another effort was to move our 911 dispatch center to the council chambers because of the exposure of the staff to the police officers who are at greater risk of exposure to the virus. And we need to be able to protect our 911 staff and keep them healthy and keep them at work. Our finances were well in order, allowing us to take advantage of a couple of short windows of low interest rate loans so that we could restructure those loans and save you, the taxpayer, considerable amount of money because we could cut our operating budget, our operating expenses, paying less interest in the operation of those entities of the city. Good things are being done as a matter of routine to take care of the community that we serve. We have quite a few teleconferences going on, as I'm sure many of you have been involved with teleconferences in one capacity or another. Several of the committees I serve on meet weekly or monthly with teleconferences, and it is through these that we receive information on situations in the communities. The Oregon Health Authority, the updates from the governor. And it is through these meetings that I have requested additional testing material for Prineville, additional personal protective equipment for our frontline workers in the hospital, in the paramedics, the police officers, and the firemen. It is through these meetings that I have asked for financial relief for local businesses and advocated for unemployment support for our local workers. I also have utilized my network access to the governor's staff to get specific needs addressed, such as a couple of weeks ago when we had a local resident who had been weeks trying to get access to the unemployment department. The governor has fairly regular press conferences. It seems almost like a daily press conference nowadays. And often we have those with live questions and answers. On Friday, the League of Oregon Cities reviews material from the week before, and we discuss next steps. We met this morning, and I would like to tell you about all of the great highlights of the meeting, but there really wasn't much other than rehashing what the governor had shared with her plans for reopening Oregon business. There are concerns for reopening businesses, however. I know a lot of people want businesses to reopen, as do I. We need to move slowly, cautiously, and get it right the first time. Many businesses have used most of their reserves to sustain through these last few weeks. Reopening requires upfront expenses, and I hope their reserves are sufficient for the challenge. There are questions about reopening, whether the public is ready to shop or sit in a restaurant. Will there be a rebound of the virus? Will there be new state mandates closing businesses for a second time? These questions wear heavily on business owners. This needs to be done right the first time. Financial support for businesses. Funds have been provided federally and locally to keep local businesses financially afloat. Facebook, again, thank you, Facebook. You've been really wonderful for us. The City of Prineville, the Chamber of Commerce, Crook County, and other entities have been providing financial aid as well as technical support to help local businesses weather this crisis. For this reason, I have invited Kim Daniels, the Chamber Director, to join me and share the ongoing efforts of the Chamber. Kim participates in the Crook County Task Force COVID-19 grant program. Kim, can you tell us about the task force, how it came about, and who serves on it?
Sure. Thank you, Mayor Effelman. I'm at my office. We have a lot of traffic, so I'll talk loud and hopefully it doesn't disturb you. But I was saying earlier that about 3-4 weeks ago, I had Brian Iverson and Kelsey with EDCO come to me and say, we've got to do something. And very quickly, we just got into go mode, which is drop everything we had been working on and see what we could do for our local businesses. So we kind of looked at other programs, not only regionally, but around the state, around the nation. Kelsey Lucas has a bunch of contacts in different parts of the country. And we pulled together some of their resources, and that's how we got the task force going and put together this grant program. So our first plan was find funds, and between the city, the county, EDCO, the chamber, the Downtown Association, and then of course Facebook, we were able to come up with a pool of funds to start getting some grants out there. So in our first round, we got in 98 businesses applied for grants. We were able to reward 94 businesses with grant award letters. And this week, me and my staff have spent a lot of time processing those checks. So we already have checks in the mail to several of those businesses so that it can start giving them some relief right now. We still have some money left. We are still looking for more money. We're not just going to give away what we originally had, but we are going to continue to try and find some funds elsewhere and see if we can come up with additional funds. So that's been exciting. That's been a really great thing. I could not have done it without the entire task force. Everyone has had a little piece in it. So just to let you guys know, if anyone's curious who's on that task force, it is Seth Crawford with Crook County, Casey Kaiser with the city of Prineville, myself. We have Janelle Rule with COIC, Craig Hunt, he is with Prineville, Crook County EDCO. Also First Interstate, we've got Kelsey Lucas with EDCO, Heather Stewart with Crook County Health Department, Brian Iverson, and with Prineville Downtown Association, and State Representative Vicki Breeze Iverson, and then also William Marks with Facebook. So again, I give a lot of my thank you to that team. I give a lot of thank you to Facebook because, perfectly honest, a majority of the funds have come from them.
So how many businesses have you actually funded so far?
How many have we funded, or how many have we cut checks for?
Well,
Here's the thing is we sent out 94 award letters. So we've let 94 businesses know that they will be getting funds. And then we're just waiting. We have to get some paperwork back from them before those checks can be cut. But I believe we sent out 57 checks this week.
Great. So what industries are included?
You've got everything. So that's one of the things I wanted people to know, because a lot of people feel like they don't qualify because of whether their industry or the number of employees they have, but we have done everything. I'm reading off a piece of paper, so forgive me for looking down, but we have manufacturing, wholesale, transportation, warehousing, real estate, professional and technical services, business administration, educational, healthcare, arts, entertainment, recreation, accommodation, food services, and miscellaneous. We've given grants to a lot of sole proprietors as well. So it runs the gamut. There have been nonprofits. Pretty much our whole goal is we want to keep businesses and business individuals alive and going in Crook County. We don't want to see a storefront shut down. We don't want to see a service go away that was important to this community. So what we're just trying to do is keep Crook County going in any way we can. So that's the main goal, is keep businesses going, keep people working, keep services available if we can.
Okay, I'll throw you a curve because we didn't talk about this before, but a friend of mine is a beautician, and she's been out of work for a while.
Mm-hmm.
As an individual, I want to say private contractor, if you will, are people in that capacity of it? Can they request funds also?
They can request funds. They can apply for funds. And then we did have several of like the beauty salons in town apply for funds, and a few of them designated that they were going to, cover the rent space for their people. Or every single business is different. Like I can't speak for everyone and what they all did. And I will say one thing that we found super great was we had 4 businesses that were awarded grants, 4 businesses to date that actually gave the money back because they felt there were businesses that had a greater need than them. So that was been really cool. I mean, it's like, here's money. And they were like, no, thanks, give it to someone else. So that was pretty cool.
Good for them. Now, you said that there were additional funds available. Is that correct?
We still have funds available. We have not granted all of that money right now. We have about, I want to say 40 applications that have been submitted since last week, and today's the closing for that. So if anyone still needs to apply, that grant process will close today just because we're getting to the end of our funds and we don't want to continue to have people on hold or hopeful when we don't have money there. But if we do end up securing additional funds and can grant more, we'll open it up again. But at this point, we probably have a greater ask than we have funds for. There's a pretty in-depth scoring process that we go through that literally just kind of awards points per how every question is answered. We really don't rule anybody out, with one exception. If you're not in Crook County, we're not going to award you funds. So sorry.
Now, you said the majority of your funds actually comes from Facebook.
Correct.
And I know that William Marks is with Facebook, and just a heads up, William Marks is going to be. I found out just a few minutes ago that William Marks is going to be participating in the city council meeting
Correct.
that's coming Tuesday. So, if you want to see what all their participation and activities coming up. We don't know. I don't know, but I think he's going to share some things with us at the Tuesday night meeting. So I'm looking forward to that. Where can I go online to get resources for grants, information, etc.?
Yeah, so right now there's two main resources that I direct people to. So if you're looking locally for Crook County specific, you can go to the chamber website. The homepage, it's prinevillechamber.com. There's kind of a turquoise band at the very top that will tell you coronavirus, and if you click on that, that will take you to grant information, resources, etc. So that is really local, mainly for our Crook County area. If you want to look a little broader, the Central Oregon SOS is a site that actually was funded by Facebook for the region, and that is up and going, and they're updating a lot more frequently. They have a lot more information, stuff that's mainly regional, federal, etc. So that is a great resource outside of the chamber site.
Kim, thank you. Tell me, what other things has the chamber been involved with to assist businesses in our community?
So we kind of, like I said, we dropped everything we were doing a couple weeks ago. We were in the middle of planning our banquet and events and everything else, and that's on the wayside. It will happen again, but not right now. So one of the very first things that me and my staff did is we thought, what's the immediate need? Beyond just the financial, beyond people worrying that they're not going to have resources. So the first thing we did is one of my staff created a Facebook page called the Prineville Volunteer Network. And so that page was created, and it kind of serves twofold. First of all, if someone has a need and they're looking for services or assistance or products, they can fill out a form. And then the second half of that page is if someone has volunteer capacity or has the ability to give, they can fill out as well. So then my staff is helping match those needs up with the volunteers and helping get people what the resources they need, the help they need. So that's been a really cool thing. We helped a gentleman last week that couldn't get out and drive to get groceries, and leave it to Stanley Flynn to be the person matched up to go help this gentleman get groceries. So that's been a nice thing to do. It's, in the middle of crisis, seeing these rewarding stories is pretty awesome. The other thing we did is we immediately started a page on Facebook that is for delivery and takeout, just trying to constantly update the community on the restaurants that we have that are open, what they're serving, when they're serving, if they do delivery. It's been a work in progress. That's been the hardest part about that page and that information. So we have it on Facebook. And just to let people know, if you're not on Facebook, we're trying to get this information out every avenue. So we have most information is on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and in the newspaper and on our website. So we're trying to get it to every avenue we can. But with the restaurants especially, sometimes it changes on a daily basis. It's hard for some of them to stay open right now. So have some patience, have some grace. If you call a restaurant and they're not answering or they're not open, or if you are a restaurant and we don't have your information correct, please let us know and we'll get it updated.
Kim, thank you for your work and all of the things that your department, your entity is doing. The chamber has been a wonderful asset for the city and the county. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Okay. Some people claim that COVID-19 is a hoax. It is not. 2 weeks ago, I had a personal friend, an older gentleman who passed away as a result of the disease. I know we would all like to get back to normal, or at least what normal used to be, and we will get there slowly. It would be nice to get a haircut, or I need one, and eat in a restaurant, sit down and enjoy a meal shop in a store for something other than groceries or medicine. And we're all looking forward to those kinds of things, and we are headed in the right direction, slowly. Thank you for being there and taking care of your neighbors and taking care of yourselves. We need to continue to self-isolate. We need to wash our hands frequently and be responsible. We will get through this together. Thank you.